welcome to 3D Experience Forum. I'm Daniel Newman, Principal Analyst and Founding Partner at Futurum Research. And we're here talking to business leaders about digital transformation and finding opportunities for growth during these crazy turbulent times that we've gone through over the past 18 months and always. Today, we're talking with Bernd Ruff of BorgWarner. Bernd, welcome to the 3D Experience.
Thanks, Daniel. First of all, really thank you for inviting me. I really was first a bit surprised as I was approached by my Dassault partner, Evans Rudis, right, for this venue. And personally, I really feel humbled and honored to be part of this show, supporting Dassault.
It's great to have you here. It's very interesting times. We're going to talk about that. Hopefully in the future at some point, we'll be back together in person doing these events. But for now, we love the fact that this technology enables us to at least feel close and to, be able to continue to share our knowledge. And of course, we all love cloud platforms here, right? So let's get started, Bernd. For the audience, I'd love to get a little bit about you, your background, your professional experience, and of course, the role you have at BorgWarner.
Thanks. So yes, as mentioned, BorgWarner, for those who don't know this company, so we are automotive suppliers. So we are north of $10 billion in revenue, and we have global facilities. We develop and manufacture parts for the drivetrain and engine area of our automobiles. Parts like four-way drive, clutch modules, turbochargers, coolant heaters, for batteries, inverters, P2 modules for the e-cars, or even completed integrated drive modules, also for pure electric cars. Recently, we just acquired Delphi Technologies to strengthen our electronics and power electronics product capabilities and bring it to scale within BorgWarner. As you ask also personally where I'm coming from. So personally, I'm with the company for 19 years now in really various roles, from infrastructure, SAP background, managing divestitures and acquisitions for the company on the IT side, and also MES and shop floor systems.
Yeah, very comprehensive role in a very large company. I believe 50,000 or so employees, one of the top 25 automotive OEMs or tier ones in the world. It's a really big business and a very interesting time, by the way, for the automotive industry. The business news, media headlines, so much talk about what's going on with the supply chains. I think I mentioned this in one of the other interviews. I see photos on things like Twitter and Facebook of these massive lots just full of, pickup trucks or vehicles that are not able to make it to the dealers' lots right now because of, the chip shortage. But it's not just the chip, it's all kinds of right now, commodities and supplies that are in high demand and lacking availability, setting the entire assembly lines behind, and it's impacting the whole world. And I think used cars are priced, I think, higher than they've ever been right now. So tons of interesting stuff going on in your market. Anything you're seeing on your end there?
Yes. It's really difficult to pick from the recent times. It's really interesting times going on. What I would like to emphasize, what happened in the past months is how the COVID situation, and I would like to highlight here the reliability and capability of our IT systems in our daily operations. So mostly IT is seen or perceived as a hidden function, supporting workforce somewhere. And now with the COVID, with people being like that, immediately out of office at home, right? IT becomes visible. Why? Because it's now also perceived that IT supports our operation in a hybrid environment, and this makes it visible, right? And the complete business operation perceived as how it works, right? And this is IT who enables that. And with that, in the end, we receive really high credits from the business operation, and we were recognized on that. But that was more ad hoc thing, right? That this was without planning. So what's the future on this hybrid environment? So the tendency on the people side, for sure, the tendency is now to bring the people back to office, right? from the home offices to regular work. For sure, this is true for the shop floor people in operation. For folks in global roles, I'm not that sure whether this is applicable to them that much. Also look towards our future workforce. They are coming from university. They made their study remote. And pity thing is, they missed all those student parties, right? But they are used to working in hybrid environment. So this will change the future. This is a kind of new normal. And secondly, linked to that, also in respect to financial and value on that. And I would like to highlight here two things. It's one, the value of the work-life balance. Just recall how many time we spend in airports and planes. This is time what we are missing from our work-life balance because it's not spent for work efficiently, right? We're just traveling or waiting versus or for family. And also in addition, in respect to value and cost, also the management and the business realized that there are viable options available. Here, the digital solutions comes into play, such as collaboration tools or virtual reality tools, like, for example, those HoloLens devices, which can really bring expertise at site without requiring flights or flying the experts from the remote side.
It sounds like you had a number of challenges. The pandemic shaped the business, forced you guys to change everything from the hiring to looking at your entire supply chain. Of course, the technology that supported all of that, and a lot of lessons learned, Bernd, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things that also interests me is your industry is changing at large right now. We're being impacted by everything from ADAS and the intelligent, automobile. We're being impacted. It's being impacted by the sustainability goals and, companies trying to build a more carbon neutral footprint, trying to electrify, trying to build integrations with cities to make for more intelligent transport. These are all big things I would consider evolution and really growth for both the industry and your company. How does BorgWarner see itself in terms of being able to differentiate itself and participate in these changes, but really at the same time stand out from the competition who are all looking at these same things?
Our industry is really transforming and changing tremendously, right? Linked to that, we announced a new strategy called Charging Forward to the street just a couple of months ago. And what does this entail? This is supporting sustainability, right? We want to drive our capabilities and hit more than 45% of our revenue in 2030 coming from the electrical area for e-mobility. Today, we are at 3% of our revenue. So this is quite a tremendous shift from today to in 9 years from now. And this is linked on top of 3 pillars. One, we want to profitably scale in the electric vehicles. Second, we want also expand into commercial electric vehicles. This is also an area where we are commercial vehicles. We have not had a big share on that yet, but we see opportunity also with e-drive in commercial vehicles. Just recently, we acquired Dassault, who is a large player in commercial vehicles with e-drives. And thirdly, for sure, also as we come from the combustion side, we do need to optimize this combustion area. When driving to higher margin, also possible to divest some of our facilities to fund our tremendous shift towards E. So as you said, also many others are doing so. What's the differentiator for BorgWarner? So on the one hand, we come from a position of strength. BorgWarner does really have the financial power in case opportunities opens up, and that allows us, we are able to execute then on those opportunities. And this makes us, how to say, comfortable that we can support this shift towards E. And the objective on that for sure is to remain profitable. So we have BorgWarner does have a long track record on, on high margins. And we are on the top quartile. And this is also the objective, to maintain this position as we shift towards E.
Yeah, the requirement to differentiate is becoming more important than ever before. And as I mentioned, though, also in an industry like automotive that is rapidly disrupting itself in many ways. And I know that word's a little bit of a catchphrase these days, but in an industry that is, being able to participate in all of these broader global goals of helping to drive everything from policy around how intelligent vehicles will be safe. We hear so much about autonomous vehicles, all the way to just, making sure, like I said, that we're being very conscious of the, utilization of resources. And then, of course, wanting to create innovative, safe products that are constantly meeting the experience demands of customers. It's a lot to balance. And it sounds like you guys are really doing that. In your role, another thing I'd like to kind of touch on is digital transformation. Again, just like disruption, it's a word that gets used a lot, but it really is important. And it is the difference between the companies that are transforming and those that are not, or what I call the leaders to laggards. The leaders are transforming, the laggards are sticking to things that may have worked in the past, but you and your organization have to be looking at transforming your business. You have to be looking at all the technologies, the softwares, the infrastructure, enhancements that can be made to make you faster, more innovative, quicker to get to market, more collaborative, easier access for your partners to access what you're developing. Talk about, what are driving some of the bigger changes and what some of those bigger changes are that are helping transform BorgWarner.
You hit it right on the nail, right? This is really exciting, having such a transformation in front of us, or actually we are in the middle of it, right? This is exciting within IT, as there are always really new opportunities. And for me, this transformation, this change is not done yet. It's a journey. It will continue, and also the speed in it will dramatically accelerate. And what's new and what's driving that? So for me, it's data is the new gold. Some might say it's the old gold, right? Because some companies, the big ones, for example, have its own business purpose with it only. But it also in the industry, it becomes more and more relevant. We do collect data all over. The sad thing on that, we are not using it. We are not using it on the spot. We create Excel diagrams, Paretos, pivots, and feel, okay, we can rule the world. We can manage the business with such data. But there's more potential behind that. This meaning we need to talk about the trusted source of data, the single source of truth. Where does the data come from? And that all of us are looking towards the same data, real data, coming say from the shop floor, from the machines, real-time data with appropriate governance on top of that. Governance on the KPIs and how to interpret the data. And that means it's not manipulated data, which someone pulled together and massage it accordingly to his personal needs or whatever, a specific need. It's the real data, the single source of truth. And the future, it's learning from recorded data, but also with new functionality. For example, predictive analytics. We have virtual laboratory on that with a digital dashboard where we can play around with what-if scenarios. And with such digital tools or support, we can play around with parameters and predict the outcome of the scrap of machines. So this is leveraging, okay, the learning from the past inside of the data, and then, okay, having enriched with tools and predict the future, looking really to the crystal ball, what will happen when I tweak this or that parameter of machines.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was gonna ping you at the end of this interview about kind of what's next, and you sort of jumped ahead a little bit. But so I want to pair you back though, because we're here at the 3D Experience Forum. And one of the questions I'm sure many in the audience, I always say peers are just one of the great sources. I like to think us as analysts are one of the sources that people literally look to and trust for our opinions. But people that lead organizations, deploy these technologies every day, we'd love to hear from others that has shared that. So when you know, and your team started down the path of partnering with Dassault, what was the driving force that you know made you decide to build and expand and you know drive your future on their platform?
Well, the partnership with Dassault started back in 2018-ish, something. We did a selection on how to say with possible vendors for supporting us in the MES area. And MES, there are many things under this umbrella. And here we started with my good friend Evans on a journey to introduce how the digital capabilities to our shop floors in our operation.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you know the technology selection process, in my opinion, has become more critical than ever before. Because when you're driving the next wave of development in your company, you really become codependent on it. And these are the vast systems of record of an organization. But when you're an organization like yours, where you're designing parts for automotive and you're working with, you know, I know you guys work with GM and you work with, you know, Chrysler, Fiat, and you're working with these big, you know, these big automotive manufacturers at scale, you need to be able to have a system that's extensible, that connects, that works.
It's one thing to have a system. The other thing is to sell this to the business operation, right? And as I started at the beginning, with MES, and everybody understands different things, what's underneath MES, right? And the trick here is, maybe to first allude a bit on our operational model, right? BorgWarner has a specific operational model, which is called LAX, Local Accountability, Global Strength. So the power is with the plant side, because they earn the money for the complete corporation. And as we're talking about really specific plant shop floor things, this is a critical theme to approach the site with, okay, this is a solution which fits for everything, right? The trick is to stop talking about MES with the plants, only talking about the solution, the issue to solve. And then having the toolbox, the Aprisa toolbox available on hand, right? And then to solve the need of each plant, which we have outside, right? With leveraging our toolbox in our operation. And this brings them the benefit to the complete cooperation.
Absolutely. I could probably ask you a dozen more questions, Bernd. I love hearing from those that are doing and those that are making things happen in the marketplace. It sounds like what you're doing at BorgWarner is very interesting. I hope everybody out there gained a lot from hearing from Bernd here. At this point, I've got to say goodbye to you here. We're at time, but I want to thank you so much, Bernd, for sitting down with me and chatting about what you're doing, the business, the future, and of course your technology decision making there at BorgWarner. Bernd, Ruff, thanks for joining the 3D Experience.
My pleasure, Daniel. Have a great day.